Hello, my fabulous friends. I hope you're doing well. Well, apparently, you cannot criticize King Charles, otherwise, you are a maple MAGA. I'm like, what the hell is a maple MAGA? A Canadian who supports Trump. I'm like, please, for the love of God. You can criticize the king. Absolutely. I'm not a sycophant. I am not of the emperor wears no clothes crowd. I criticized Queen Elizabeth and I criticized the king. He's my king, and I am allowed to do that in the year 2026. It's not 1526 where they chop your head off if you said something about the king. So, anyways, with that in mind, if you are offended, if I point out some of the error of his ways, I suggest you click off. Go find something to do instead of complain to me and call me a maple MAGA. Anyways, okay, so here's what we're going to be talking about. King Charles has met for the 7th time with Vladimir Zelensky. Ukraine is not a Commonwealth country. King has nothing to do with Ukraine. He hasn't met any other leader that many times, including leaders from the Commonwealth country. He's met with Carney, I believe, 3, maybe 4 times. And Carney is the prime minister of one of the countries he is the king of. Same thing with Australia and New Zealand, handful of times. Why 7 times with Zelensky? What's going on here? That Zelensky has the audience and the ear of the king 7 times. That's almost twice a year. For somebody, for why? What's the reason here? They're not part of NATO. The king is not supposed to be political. Is he being blackmailed with something? Is he giving Ukraine money? What's going on? Seriously, what's going on? Why is the king meeting with Zelensky so often? What's Zelensky coming to meet the king for? What's Zelensky in London? He's got a war going on at home. Shouldn't he be at home sorting all that out? What's going on? Why do the king and Zelensky meet so much? Well, I know Zelensky's been to Canada a handful of times. Every time he leaves with $2 billion, but I don't think the king can give Zelensky any money, or can he? What's going on? Why is King Charles meeting so often with Zelensky? I don't like it. To me, it makes a political statement, and my king should not be political. Why is the king meeting with Zelensky so often? What are they talking about? What are the reasons? What's going on? Why is the king meeting with Zelensky? He's my king, and I can tell him I don't like it. Oh, war. The tower. Yeah, they're talking about the war. 100%. Wow. Ace of Wands, ideas. Knight of Pentacles, Harry. Why would they be? Oh, Harry's been there a couple of times. Anne has been there a couple of times. Sophie has been there. What is the connection between the royal family and Ukraine? Like, what's going on? It's not even as if they have a connection with Russia anymore. I mean, they haven't for over 100 years. When the Tsar was killed, when he begged King George to help him, and he didn't, is it investments? Is it ideas how to rebuild Ukraine? Ukraine was known as the bread basket of Europe. So are they talking about ways and means to rebuild Ukraine? Is it a fully investment purposes? Because the Ace of Wands is investments. It's ideas of investments and the passion and the ideas. It's not necessarily the Ace of Pentacles where you actually invest the money, but it's like Okay, let's talk about this war. How can we invest to rebuild Ukraine? Can't let go of the past. Depression, despondency, can't let go of the past, crying over spilt milk. Did the royal family already have private investments there? And there's all the talk about the communication, the traveling, getting things done. We have two wands here. Wands are, military action. They can be if you want to read them that way. More traveling to the Ukraine. More communications. Also, sometimes my Eight of Wands can be bombing. But I don't know how that would apply with the king. Queen of Pentacles, something to do, is that with the queen? I mean, did they have private investments there? Does, because they have their own private investments. And again, that's another agricultural, something's missing, walking away. Oh, they are giving money. They absolutely are giving money. They're donating and giving money. But is it as the crown? I'll be looking for the emperor or the Hierophant. But how do they have the rights to give the the British taxpayer money away as the king? Starmer has that right, just as Carney has that right. He's been giving he's given $25 billion. There's only 40 million of us. That's almost $1 billion per person who lives in Canada. Where is that money coming from? How it's putting us into debt that we'll never get out of. Offering of peace. Offering of peace. Five of Wands and the Wheel of Fortune. It's money, guys. Queen of Cups. They want to look like they're helping. They may be talking about private investing in the restructuring of Ukraine, of getting it back on its feet. Investing in agricultural pursuits, perhaps, because King Charles is a big, he loves his organic farming and his gardening and whatnot. Perhaps he's looking at that and expanding his portfolio. Plus, they want to look like they have empathy for what's going on with the people. Looking like they have empathy for another European country. Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups. Yeah, you know what? That's what it is too. We're one big family. We're all in this together. Yeah, there's Zelensky. There he is. But there are kind of boundaries. Yeah, you know what? I think the king. Oh, there's the Ace of Pentacles. I think in some respects the king is starting to look like a fool because Zelensky is going to be investigated for money laundering. So I think right now, I think Zelensky's after the king for money. I think he comes in and he's asking for money, and I think there's something there the king is interested in. He's looking at the potential of an investment or some kind of donation or something. I think it's agricultural. I think that's what the king is all about. Like, what's this doing to the planet, and how do we get that land that, how do we get it back up and growing? And we're all, one big happy European family, and perhaps it's just optics. Perhaps it's just optics, but here comes Zelensky, handout, and looking for, I think he's looking for funds right now. Perhaps he might even be looking to the king to encourage Starmer to give him more money. I don't see anything nefarious here. I don't see anything underhanded. I think, though, at some point, people are going to start to question, like, what's the deal here? What's the deal here? And in some respects, it's like, we're all Europa, and many Ukrainians live in the UK. I think the king might put up some boundaries after this. Perhaps he knows once William is the king, William won't be putting up with any of this. I think that at some point, I actually think at some point the king's going to say that's enough. But yeah, they're talking about investments. They're talking about investments or some kind of donation or charity. Yeah, they just want to look like they have a lot of empathy and they're, I'm helping kind of thing. Yeah, so it's sad because people are starting to wonder what the hell is going on rather than thinking, well, isn't that nice of him to be so generous? Be careful, King Charles. That's the last thing you need right now is to be entangled with Zelensky being investigated for embezzlement and all the rest of that. Fair warning. Take good care. See you online. Bye for now.